Alrighty, welcome back everyone. So as promised, today we'll be going ahead and talking about how you can get the second set of these special dragon stones for the global Dokkan campaign. Of course, I am referring to these rainbow stones right here. A while ago during the countdown phase for the global Dokkan campaign, we had the first set come out for everything. I made a vid talking about how you can get the first set of these stones as well as the general information you need to know about the store and everything. So if you guys want to understand that sort of stuff, I will leave a link to that vid in the top right corner if you guys want to check it out. Today, we'll be mainly focusing on how you can get the second set though of these stones, which are obviously associated with part 1 of the whole global Dokkan campaign, and we'll also talk about how the two new Super EZAs fare in terms of the quality of their design. Specifically, I am talking about Physical Vegeta Blue and AGL Super EZA Rose Goku Black, and also the importance of if you need dupes and everything in them. So we'll talk about all that sort of stuff as well. It's probably going to be a bit of a short vid today, but still hopefully it will be pretty helpful for you guys. If you guys enjoyed the vid, show your support, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your thoughts. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, first thing that is important to know, let me just say this right now. As you can see, I already got all 70 of the stones that we can currently get right now. If you've been playing, if you got the first set of the stones and the second set right now already, the maximum you can get is up to 74 now. Now, I said this in the last vid, this is not the end all be all total. We should get up to 100 of these stones. The final 30 should show up in part 2 of the global Dokkan campaign, which should begin in a few days from now. So that'll technically be our third set, but that's like that set should show up in probably like 2 or 3 days or so, give or take. So, you know, stay ready for that. Of course, we'll get the missions for that. They should be as easy as the first and the second sets have been, so really should be straightforward in that sense. But yeah, for right now, every player can get up to 70 of these stones. And also, yeah, there's a lot of general information to understand, but the first thing and the most important thing is that regardless of which character you want, every character, a single copy of said character, is going to cost you 20 of these stones. It doesn't matter how old or how new they are, if they're like good or anything. Obviously, the two recent Super EZAs with Vegito Blue and Rose, it doesn't matter that they're recently Super EZA, they will still cost you 20 stones just like everyone else. So, you know, there isn't necessarily a trick to maximizing the return value of your stones in terms of the cost and everything, but there is obviously certain characters who are a lot better to go after compared to others. So there is kind of like some kind of finickiness, a bit of like a Venn diagram middle kind of section, if you will, where there's like overlap. So, you know, there is a bit of a thing to understand right there. But anyways, you know, obviously, you know, we got the 70 stones. Let's talk about how you can get the second set of these stones. And I will go ahead and move to my computer here because I already completed the missions, unfortunately, so I can't show you guys in as easy of detail. But okay, so if we look at the my laptop and everything, so we have the Dokkan Info missions. This right now is the first set. If you guys saw my previous vid talking about these stones, this is the first set that we saw like a while ago. You can see it started back in like the end of June. So the countdown phase stones, again, very simple. If you haven't done these, again, basically the goal is to deal a total of like 78 million damage, which this will accrue over a multitude of stages. Right here, the damage dealt in different stages will all be counted, and it will not count if you don't clear the stage. But you basically just have to do a bunch of stages. You'll get this pretty easily. You can do one like burst mode stage and you can get it done in like one single go. So it's very simple, very straightforward. Again, these missions are so easy, everyone should be doing them. There's no real reason not to do them unless you're just choosing not to play the game. But I feel like this is one of the times where you should be doing so, right? So, you know, very easy to do. Here though is they call it part 1. Technically, yes, it is part 1 with the global Dokkan campaign, but this is the second set of these special stones, which again, as you can see with the original set and the second set here, all of them will be obtainable till basically like August 11th, which should be the end officially of the entire global Dokkan campaign. So with the part 1 global Dokkan campaign stones and everything, the second set, the way to get all of these stones is simply put to clear stages. Clear any stage up to 77 times, and that excludes Ultimate Clash and World Tournaments. So obviously you have to clear stages. This is important to know because of the way that this is described, the parameters set with it, if you will, with World Tournament stuff. Right now we don't even have a World Tournament, but you can do any stage that you want. It doesn't matter how much stamina is being used. It doesn't matter if it's even taking stamina in general, but you have to clear a stage. You can't lose the stage. You have to beat the stage, of course. It can be as difficult or as easy as you would like. You could do some of the really old, easy boss rush stages or whatever, and you can get these pretty easily. Now, obviously 77 stages, it will take time. It's not something you could just do with a snap of your fingers. Unlike this kind of like 77 million damage and everything, like you could do a burst mode stage and just like set a really high HP boss and just beat this in one run. This will take you time. This is going to take you 77 clears. So, like if you're really like grinding it out, if you're just like kind of locking in and just doing it, if you're focusing on also doing like a really like easy stamina intensive kind of stage and everything, you can get this done probably like as quick as an hour at most, I would assume. But like even passively, like if you're farming all the like the Dokkan event stages or just doing all sorts of content, you should get this easily. In fact, I'm sure a lot of you guys have already done a lot of these missions without even realizing it. So should be very simple right there. Also, again, similar to like the countdown phase stones, these will still be available into part 2. So don't feel like you have to get this today or it's too late. You can get these even when we're in part 2 of the celebration. So that's a nice thing right there. There's still plenty of time if you haven't even gotten started on this. But yeah, 77 clears. Very simple, very straightforward. Let's go ahead and move back to my phone side of things, because obviously that's where the game is. Just in terms of stages, like, I will say, if I had to recommend some different stages for you guys, like, again, you can do any stage that you want. Like, there's no limit to what you can do. But for me, I would say definitely, you know, do these like growth stages. I still need to do them myself. Obviously on my side of things, my stamina is still capped right now. Do the growth stages. Those will obviously get you nice rewards, nice, you know, resources and everything for training and everything. So obviously do those sorts of things, skill orbs, which is nice. Obviously you can go ahead and farm like the clones. I still need to farm the clones, like the final missions. So I'm not fully done there, but you know, you can do that. Training in the clouds. This is a very powerful stage. You know, if you are trying to do link leveling and you need like crazy good link leveling rates and stuff and you're trying to go crazy on that, this stage can be fantastic for you. Now, worth mentioning, which is a very important thing right here, the boost mode doesn't technically, at least as far as I'm recalling, it doesn't technically qualify as a double clearing of the stage. So what I mean by that is, if we run, you know, training in the clouds right now, we do the hard mode for 40 stamina, that's one clear, right? If you do the bonus, unless I'm mistaken, it will not count as a second clear. So it will still count as only one clear, with just a bit of an extra cost in stamina and the extra like bonus and rewards, but that's pretty much it. So, you know, you can't use the boost to kind of speed things up. Technically, you have to kind of go through it. But again, with all these stages basically being available to you, there is nothing that can stop you. Even like the challenge events right here, like I said earlier, you can go to like all the really old content way down here and like go to like the punching bag missions, you know, boss rush, the god of destruction fights, you know, the fighting legends. You could do all those things and basically just have like free eats. Like if you got any of the new characters, you should pretty much be able to beat all this content, no sweat. So you could just run it a bunch of times, put it on auto, go get some coffee, go get some tea, go to get like a milkshake or go to sleep or something. I don't know, but you can relax like once you put it on auto. So this is so simple. It really, there's nothing that can hold you back from doing this. So definitely make sure to do it. Now, obviously the missions themselves, very simple, very straightforward. We don't know what part 2 is going to have to offer. Obviously with part 1, we do have free-to-play characters, but they didn't add the missions to be predicated on getting those free-to-play characters. So I do like that the missions are very easy to access for anyone, but you know, I assume it'll be a similar kind of focus maybe for part 2. Maybe it'll be something about stamina usage, who knows. But yeah, so 70 stones for now, that's all we're going to be having available to us. If you guys choose to spend them right now, that is your call, but I will say right now, just like I said in the previous vid on this, do not spend your stones right now. That is my recommendation to all of you guys, to myself even. I am trying my best not to spend these stones, because with part 2, we're going to be getting probably a few more super EZAs, probably some really cool super EZAs at that, and they'll be on the new banners. We don't know how our summon lucks will go. Some of you guys have been having probably fantastic luck. I myself have been having terrible luck, but I did manage to pull a copy of Vegito Blue. So, you know, we don't know how the summons will look, you know, but for me, my recommendation, which everyone's been saying the same thing, everyone should be waiting to use these stones, because once the summons are concluded, then you have a chance to see, okay, maybe I didn't get lucky and pull Vegito Blue, or maybe I didn't get Rose and I need a copy of Rose. Now, there you go. I can go ahead and use these stones to get a character like him. So that's why I say people should wait on this. That's why a lot of people are saying you guys should wait on this. So again, like I said it in like the countdown phase, I'll say it again here. I'll probably say it again in part 2 when we do like the part 2 like third set like missions and stuff. But be patient. You know, it is tough seeing all these cool characters and like you want them and you think they're going to be beneficial, but it is tough. But you know, be patient. It will definitely like come to your account eventually. Now, with that all being said, let's go ahead now and just talk about like the final kind of part of the vid really, which is the 2 super EZAs, right? So for part 1 of the Global Dokkan campaign, we got 3 official super EZAs and 1 EZA, right? Alongside the free-to-play characters and the new characters and stuff. So with the super EZAs, we got the free-to-play LR, you know, STR Goku Black, right? Like the base form Goku Black. And then the 2 super EZAs who are like premier characters were AGL Rose and Physical Vegito Blue. And then for the EZA, that was Int Merge Zamasu with the LR. Now with these stones, you know, this goes up to the 5th anniversary, you can't get these stones to pick up the Int Merge Zamasu, so that character's out. The question, don't even think about him in terms of this store right here. Now, besides that, the 3 super EZAs, the free-to-play LR STR Goku Black, he will not be here. So to get that EZA, to get that super EZA, you have to farm the character. You have to go through the work. It's not too much difficulty, but you do have to farm him to get that. The only 2 super EZAs that can be acquired from here are AGL Vegito Blue and Rose. There you go right there. Now, I said it in the previous vid, I'll say it here too. A lot of the things I'm saying in this vid are kind of like rehashed, if you will, from the previous vid in terms of the general kind of stuff. But with both of these characters, they are in their Transcended UR form, so you don't have to farm the Dokkan Awakening medals. However, they are not easy 8, and of course beyond that, they're not super easy 8. So if you do get these characters and these are your first copies, you will still, like, if you get them from the store, you will still need to farm the easy 8 medals, farm the super easy 8s, and get them awakened. That's the only thing that you need to make sure to do, because without that, these characters will be complete dog water, and you'll be wondering if people have misled you in terms of how good they are. So obviously make sure to get those things done. Should be pretty straightforward overall, especially if you have some of the better like characters, you should be able to handle it. But yeah, nevertheless, make sure to get those easy A's and super easy A's done. Now, talking about both these characters, I do have the privilege of having both of these characters, thankfully. I believe my Rose is at 55% and Vegito Blue's at 69%, so I do have a lot of experience with both of these characters, using them on different teams. I will say right now, both of them, I do need to make a separate vid, like on a tier list of the super easy A's now, because it's been a while since the last one. But, you know, both these characters, in my opinion, are like top 5 super easy A's probably at this point in time in terms of how they handle themselves. They are not perfect, but they are incredibly powerful. Especially, I would say, between the two, I think Vegito Blue is, I wouldn't say far better, but like a lot better than Rose. And it's kind of tough to say, because the thing about Rose is, with his super easy A, right? So the kit's not going to show right there. With his super easy A, Rose has a lot of potential for boosting his damage. He has a nice ability to get a good amount of damage reduction and guard with the right team and everything, but he is still kind of forced into a slot 2 position, because if the first or one of the early attacks he's facing is a super, he will only have guard and a small amount of damage reduction, and that's not going to be enough against some of the really hard bosses. With Vegito Blue, with his super easy, the thing about him specifically is he is able to, like, he can tank normals like no one's business and counter and do good amount of damage, and every attack he's doing counters or additionals or everything. Those things are going to be very good for like boosting his damage output. But he is predicated on dodging supers. He does have a built-in chance to dodge. If he doesn't dodge the super, you will be in trouble. So, you know, there is a bit of a challenge right there in terms of trusting Vegito Blue, but if you have dupes in him, that'll make things a lot easier in terms of just building him with dodge and stuff. So, you know, both characters are fantastically good, not perfect, but still very awesome to have. Now, with that in mind, do I recommend you guys get dupes for them? Not necessarily. I feel like for both of these characters, at 55%, they will still achieve more than like 70% or 80% of their true value. Like, I feel like a lot of their value is not really gate kept by them having dupes. So that's just what I'll say right there. A lot of their kit is self-sufficient in a sense, you know, it can work really well. Now, if you do get dupes, that'll make a major difference, especially for someone like Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue, for me, I would say that the dupes are more valuable for him than for AGL Rose, because Rose, you know, the dupes boost his damage and everything, boost his tankiness, but also a lot of his tankiness is predicated on his guard and his damage reduction. For Vegito Blue, a lot of his potential, his capability is reliant on him dodging a super and his ability to do more additionals, you know, get maybe some built-in crit as well. He doesn't have built-in crit into his kit, so you do need to put crit into his hidden potential build, so his counters can do a lot more damage, so his supers can do more damage. So for me, I would say for sure Vegito Blue is more dependent, if you will, on the dupes versus the AGL Rose, but like both characters are so powerful even without it. So, you know, if you have 55% of these characters, don't stress saying like, oh, I need to use the stones for more dupes. They'll still do a lot of good work regardless. Anyways, we talked about the characters. That's going to be where we wrap up the vid. I know we kind of went on a slight bit of like a tangent there, I feel like, but obviously we talked about the missions. Again, very straightforward, just clear stages. You can do all sorts of different stages. There's no limit there. You know, with both of these characters, they're fantastic, but don't spend your stones quite yet. We still have part 2 to look forward to. Maybe you want the part 2 super easies more than these guys. Maybe they're better than these guys. Who knows? Fingers crossed they may be. But we'll have to kind of wait and see. Don't spend your stones right yet, though. Obviously, see how the rest of the Global Dokkan campaign goes before you decide what to spend your stones on, because those are, you know, one-time purchases. You can't take them back, so you want to make the best choice for yourself, and obviously that takes time to see what that's going to be. Anyways, with that all being said, hope you guys enjoyed the vid. Again, if you did, show your support, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Again, comment down below your thoughts. Hopefully this vid did help you guys out in case you guys were struggling with the missions, or you didn't know what to do, or all the, like, you didn't know any sorts of like understandings on like Vegito Blue and stuff. But if you guys enjoyed the vid, show your support there. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, stay blessed, and I will see you all in the next one.